Well, more and more talk about letting the Bush tax cuts expire, and yet we're hearing more and more from some pretty rich guys about why they don't want to see that happen. Fortune's managing editor, Andy, so we're here to talk about it. And Andy, this isn't all rich men and women. I mean, some of them support it, but it's interesting. We had Alan Schwartz, former Bear Stearns CEO, on the program earlier this week, and he talked about the deep anger out there about the distribution of wealth in this country, and that Wall Street and big corporations don't really seem to get it.
Yeah, and what's going on right now is that there are some wealthy people who are, crying and moaning about paying more taxes, higher tax rates. I mean, look, no one wants to pay more in taxes. I mean, that's just a natural thing. However, people understand that in a democracy, if you want to have roads and schools, you have to pay taxes. The question is how much. And, I think when some of these wealthy Wall Street types start, going out there and being very vocal about taxes not going up and about how much they're paying in taxes, it's not a very pretty picture. It's not attractive. It's not appealing. I don't think it suits them well, and I don't think they're going to make much headway. They've got no constituency. In fact, even the representatives, for instance, in New York State, you don't see them coming to their side.
No, they're not going to win voters that way, or enough
win
voters.
3 or 4 votes, that just doesn't, the math doesn't work, right?
Steve Schwartzman, head of Blackstone, had some pretty outspoken comments, according to Newsweek. What can you tell us?
Yeah, this apparently was at a speech to some other people in his business, and he suggested that there's a war going on right now about taxes, about higher taxes, and he equated to Hitler invading Poland. Now, talk about inflammatory rhetoric, Poppy. I mean, that's just way over the top, and I believe later he apologized for those remarks. And he's talking about carried interests, in this world, in the private equity, which is the buyout world, some of the payout, the 20% return that these guys get on the returns, the overall returns. They get 20% of the overall returns. They get paid. They have to pay a long-term capital gains tax on that 15%, and others suggest they should pay an ordinary income of about 35% of marginal tax on that. Now, these guys make hundreds of millions, if not billions of dollars. So to complain about, paying more taxes, significantly more, it doesn't sit well with other people. And the other thing is for them to suggest that, this business will go away, we won't have any more private equity business, it'll go to Europe. I think that's just false.
But is this the majority or the minority? Because hearing something like that from Steve Schwartzman, that really stands out. Are we seeing across the spectrum of big businesses, Andy, the leaders, the people making a lot of money, are they leaning that way, or are they leaning on the side of, look, we've spent this country into the deep, deep hole. We need to pay our way out. We need to pay more taxes.
Here's how we have to look at it, okay, in terms of business people, wealthy business people. Overall, they are against higher taxes. Only a few of them are for higher taxes. Warren Buffett, for instance, and a few others. Overall, business people are against it. But there are only a few of them who will really go out on a limb and publicly say, this is ridiculous, we cannot do this. And that is a difficult proposition for these people to do.
This actually ties into what we're seeing and hearing more and more about, and that is this increasing chatter about the Obama administration not being big business friendly.
Right.
This adds into that. Now, and I ask business leaders every day, is this the rhetoric that bothers you, or is this the policies?
Well, that's a really interesting point, Poppy. And what's happened, I think, of course, is, it's a Democratic president, a liberal Democratic president. So, by nature, business is distrustful. Then what happened is that the president and his administration had to take over numerous businesses, including Citi, GM, AIG, Fannie and Freddie. So, oh my goodness, this is socialism. So that happened. And now you've got a situation where they're looking to raise taxes. And a Wall Street senior executive told me recently, he said, and we were talking about this very issue, Poppy, and he said, the difference between Clinton and Obama, Clinton likes rich people, Obama doesn't. Now, I don't know if that's true or not, but it speaks to the perception on Wall Street about those two presidents.